Welcome to GOT Good Old Tech. Today we're going to talk about the iPhone 16 and the iPhone 16 Pro. We're going to dive into the difference between those and the iPhone 15 models and whether we should upgrade or not. Let's get to it. Now let's start off with the iPhone 16. The first thing we want to look at is the exterior of the phone. Not a whole lot of changes. They added a couple of buttons and we'll talk about those in a moment. But as far as the size of the phone, it's still the 6.1 inch for the standard iPhone 16, and then if you go to the iPhone 16 Plus, it's a 6.7 inch model. This is all the same as last year's iPhone 15. So the actual weights and everything hasn't changed. Now what has changed is additional buttons on the outside. On the iPhone 16 and the iPhone 16 Plus, they added the action button. The action button we got last year on the iPhone Pros is now on the iPhone 16. That action button, for those of you who don't know, if you have an older phone, it's actually the silence switch, you know, the little red switch you turn off and on. Now it's a button. This button, you can use it to silence your phone if that's what you choose to do, or you can use it to attach to an app, something that you may use on a routine basis. Now some people use it to open up the camera app and take photos, but you don't have to do that now, because not only do you have the action button in the iPhone 16, you also have a camera capture button. What is a camera capture button? It's just like your regular camera, your point and shoot. You can hold the phone in the landscape orientation and you have a trigger just like you do on a standard point and shoot. Now with this button, you can actually hold it part way to freeze your focus, and it's an active button. In other words, you can slide across the top back and forth and get it to zoom in, zoom out, even change features of the camera. So that's a pretty nice addition to the iPhone 16. That camera button will actually be also on the 16 Pro. Now moving on to more hardware inside the phone, you have the new A18 chip. Now the iPhone 16 is jumping up 2 generations from A16 in the iPhone 15 to the A18. So they skipped the 17 generation, which is really nice. And I believe the reason why they did that is because they're saying the A18 is required for more AI features, and we'll talk about those soon. And the A18 also comes with 8 gigs of RAM on the iPhone 16. So the iPhone 15 has 6 gigs. Now the iPhone 16 has 8 gigs of RAM, which we also find in the 16 Pro and also in the 15 Pro. So good question as we jump into the AI features. Will the 15 Pro have the AI features you're going to find in the 16s? Well, in the iPhone 16, you're going to get quite a few AI features that are tied to that A18 chip. So I'm not quite sure, since the iPhone 15 only has an A17. Now, of course, there's some AI features that are going to come with iOS 18, but we're still not sure how low that's going to go. Which phones? Is the 13, 14 is going to get it? We don't know. A lot of these features are probably going to trickle down fewer and fewer on the different older phones. So if you want to make sure to get all the update AI features, you do need to get the iPhone 16 or 16 Pro. Now, what are some of these features? Well, they talk about AI proofreading your text, your email, or different things that you might be writing up. That's a great feature. I actually use those on my Samsungs and my Pixels right now. So now iPhone is finally catching up. So that's a good added feature. And they're using Apple AI, not artificial intelligence, but Apple AI is what they're calling it, Apple Intelligence. And as we know, that's just really just a play on word and Apple taking ownership of AI. Now let's look at the cameras on the iPhone 16. They're pretty much the same as the 15, although they did change the sensor in the ultra wide camera in the iPhone 16 to give you access to more light in your photos. So in other words, it's going to allow more light in. The more light you get, the clearer photo you get. So they're saying that the micro shots are going to be much clearer, as well as your ultra wide images. So we'll have to see that as the phones are released. Now the other benefit that we're going to get in the new iPhone 16 is because of the processor, it's going to be more energy efficient. So the battery, they're saying, is going to last a bit longer, like 2 hours longer than the iPhone 15. So again, that's another one of those things we're going to have to test. And on the iPhone 16 this year, they put the ceramic shield they reserved for the Pros last year. So it's getting this new ceramic shield on the glass, making it stronger. They're saying 50 times stronger, as well as adding more strength to the chassis. So they're saying the iPhone 16 is going to be a little bit stronger. In this demo, you see they're kind of tossing the phone to the ground. I wouldn't recommend that, but they're confident enough they can actually show a demo on a video. Now that's it for the iPhone 16. Let's move on to the 16 Pros. The 16 Pros have a few more changes than the iPhone 16. Both of the iPhone 16 Pros have changed in size. You have the standard iPhone 16 Pro that has gone from 6.1 to 6.3 inches. Now the 6.3 inches is considered the perfect size of a smartphone. Why? I think mainly because of viewing content. That's a better aspect ratio than the 6.1. And then the Pro Max has gone from 6.7 inches up to 6.9 inches. Now that's a huge jump, making the iPhone 16 Pro Max being the largest bar phone so far, even larger than the S24 Ultra, which is 6.8 inches. Now with these size changes also increases the weight, so be prepared for that. A little bit heavier phones. Now of course the iPhone Pros are made of titanium, so the titanium of course is making it a little stronger than your standard iPhone, and they're adding a color to the titanium on the new iPhone 16 Pros. This color being a desert tan or desert sand color. Don't know whether I like it or not. That's going to be a personal preference. Now, of course, the iPhone 16 Pro is getting the A18 Pro chip, and the Pro gives it a little more features AI-wise than the standard phone. And those AI features still to come. Not everything's going to be released with the phone, so we can't really report on those and know what that's going to really be like compared to the iPhone 16. So we'll have to talk about that in a later video. But just suffice to know that the Pro is giving you a little more speed, a little more function. Now, of course, the iPhone 16 Pros are coming with 8 gigabytes of RAM, just like their counterpart, the 16. So no change there. iPhone 15 Pro also has 8 gigs of RAM. Now, of course, the new chip is going to be more efficient, giving you more life to the battery. As a matter of fact, Apple is saying that this is the best battery life in an iPhone ever. Now, the part of the reason why they're saying that is because they've also increased the size of the battery along with the size of the phones. So that's a great thing for the new iPhone 16 Pros. More battery life is always a great deal. Now on the iPhone 16s, they did some changes to the cameras. The camera now has a 48 megapixel ultra wide. You still have the 48 megapixel main, 12 megapixel zoom, but now you have a 48 megapixel ultra wide. This 48 megapixel ultra wide, jumping from a 12, is going to give you a lot better pictures. Of course, work better even in low light, allowing more light in and better macro shots. So there's finally a change in the iPhone cameras. Now on the iPhone 16 Pro, they did make another camera change, and that is the zoom lens. The zoom lens on the iPhone 16 Pro of years past has been 3x zoom. This year, they did not reserve the 5x zoom just to the Max. Now the iPhone 16 Pro is getting the 5x zoom lens just like the Max. So that means we're not getting any compromise for those of us that like the smaller phone because we have smaller hands. Now that's a good thing, Apple. Now also on the iPhone 16 Pro, they're getting the added camera capture button, just like we talked about on the 16. The camera button allows you to zoom in, zoom out, do different things because it is a touch-sensitive gesture button. Now let's talk about the prices of the phone. Pretty much the same as last year. On the standard iPhone, you have it starting out at $799 for the 6.1 inch, and if you jump up to the 6.7 inch, it's going to be $899. So just $100 difference, and you get the larger phone if that's for you. And then moving over to the Pro models, the iPhone 16 Pro starts out at $999. That's similar to last year. Now it comes with 128 gigabytes memory on that iPhone 16 Pro. Now if you jump up to the iPhone 16 Pro Max, it starts out with 256 gigs of memory, making it $1199. So it's quite a jump with that $200 difference, but at least you are getting double the memory. Now, of course, on both phones, the prices go up from there if you add more memory. Now, in summary, the new iPhone 16 is getting the new A18 chip, and along with that is longer battery life and several AI features. And it's also getting a new hardware action button and camera capture button and some color changes. Now, in summary, the iPhone 16 Pro is of course getting the A18 Pro chip, as well as larger sizes for the phone, giving you larger battery, longer battery life, the best ever in an iPhone, getting a full camera change, better zoom camera in the standard model, iPhone 16 Pro, as well as the camera capture button and many AI features you won't get on any other device. So now to that big question, should you or should you not upgrade? So the iPhone 16, should you upgrade? Well, there's a lot of positive reasons. First off, you got the A18, so a faster chip, which will lead to battery life being longer on the phone. And then you have the AI features that are going to be allowed with the A18. Now, if AI is not a big deal to you, then you might want to skip this upgrade. But if photography is a big deal to you, then you definitely want it because you've got the action button now, and you also have the capture button for the camera, which will make it easier to take photos. And of course, they tweak the ultra wide just a little bit. If you're into taking those macro shots and ultra wide shots, then that might be a good reason to upgrade. Other than that, not a lot of heavy duty upgrades. So the iPhone 15 is still a good phone. Now, why would you upgrade to the iPhone 16 Pro? There's a lot of reasons there. You've got, of course, the A18 Pro chip, a larger phone, larger battery, longer battery life. You've got a better ultra wide camera with the 48 megapixel. You also have the additional capture button. And of course, you're guaranteed to get all the additional AI features that will come in time to the new iPhone and iOS. Now, if AI is not a big deal for you, again, well, the iPhone 15 Pro should do pretty well, especially if you don't like the larger sizes too, then the iPhone 15 Pro may be the one to stay with because you do have that extra size and weight. Now, for me, if it were me personally, I probably would not upgrade my iPhone 15 Pro simply because I don't really want the added weight. There's not going to be a whole lot of features that really are game changers for me. And the iPhone 15 Pro is promised to get a lot of these AI features. There will be some limitations, but it should get most of the features that can be integrated to your daily life, such as proofreading your texts and emails and things of such. So for me, there's not a lot of changes, especially when a lot of those changes are to come. And if you don't know what I'm saying, watch the video on the keynote. A lot of things they're promising, they're saying is going to come in 30 days next year. So the phone is not going to be released with all those additions. So even for both phones, it might be wise to wait until all the promises come to fruition on the phones before you upgrade. And then if they do it anything like Google Pixel did, it took a full year before they got all the upgrades for the Pixel 8 Pro and put them in the Pixel 9 Pro, and finally the 8 Pro got it at that time. So you could have waited for the Google 9 Pro before you upgraded. That may be the same case for the iPhone. Now I want to hear from you. Is there any feature that was added that you're really excited about, or is there any feature that didn't get added that you wish they would? Leave that down in the comments below and we can talk about it. Now, of course, while you're down there, make sure to smash that like button because it does help out the channel. And if you haven't already subscribed, and I know many of you haven't, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future content as we continue to do more reviews on the new iPhone 16s. Thank you for hanging out with me today, and until next time, God bless.